When you're standing in front of a mountain of fabric scraps and wondering whether that fancy sewing and embroidery machine will finally let you finish the quilt you started last year, you start asking the hard questions. Who actually benefits from a high-end combo like the Janome Horizon Memory Craft 9850? Who can safely walk past it and stick with a simpler model? And, most importantly, does the price make sense for someone who just wants reliable daily stitching without breaking the bank? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I know the hesitation because I've been there. I spent weeks comparing entry-level Singer machines, mid-range brother models, and then the big-ticket Janomes. The Horizon 9850 sits in a weird sweet spot. It promises the power to tackle 200 different stitches, a touchscreen interface, and embroidery flexibility, yet it's marketed as a renewed unit, which adds a layer of uncertainty about longevity. The core of the decision comes down to how you actually use a sewing machine. If you are a hobbyist who sews a few projects a month, maybe a basic model will suffice. If you are a serious crafter who mixes quilting, garment making, and occasional embroidery, the extra features start to feel like a real productivity boost. And if you're just looking for a set-it-and-forget-it machine that won't surprise you with hidden costs, the Horizon's hidden trade-offs become the focus. Let's break down the everyday scenario. Imagine you've just bought a set of cotton prints, and you want to make a set of matching pillow covers. You load the fabric, select a decorative stitch, and the machine's intuitive touchscreen guides you through tension settings. That ease of use is exactly what the Janome's user-friendly design means in practice. The screen is bright enough to see in a typical home workshop, and the menu hierarchy is shallow enough that you can switch from a straight stitch to a decorative one with just a few taps. For someone who isn't comfortable digging through endless manuals, this is a solid win. Now, picture you're adding a monogram to a linen table runner for a wedding gift. The advanced embroidery flexibility comes into play. You import a simple .jpg of the initials, use the built-in software to clean the design, and the machine's embroidery head smoothly follows the path. The result, at a modest 800 stitches per minute, is a crisp, evenly spaced lettering that looks professional. For a maker who wants to blend sewing and embroidery without buying two separate machines, this dual capability adds tangible value. It saves space, and more importantly, saves the time you'd spend learning a separate embroidery system. Speed is another practical consideration. The high-speed sewing claim isn't just marketing fluff. When I tested a batch of tote bags, the machine maintained a smooth 800 stitches per minute without pulling or bunching the material. On heavier denim, the speed dropped slightly but remained consistent enough that a project that might have taken an hour on a slower machine was done in about 45 minutes. If you're producing items for sale or simply want to finish a batch of homemade gifts faster, that boost in throughput is evident. But there are hidden trade-offs that only show up after you put the machine to work. The first is the learning curve of the touch screen. While the interface is intuitive, it does lock you into a digital workflow. If your workshop has limited outlets, you'll need a surge protector or a dedicated power strip, because the machine draws a noticeable amount of power, especially while embroidering. In a small apartment, you may find yourself juggling cords, which can feel clumsy compared to the straightforward no-bandial approach of older machines. Another practical weakness is the renewed status. Janome's renewed units come refurbished and tested, but they often lack the original packaging and sometimes miss accessories like the hard case or extra bobbins. If you're someone who expects a pristine, brand-new experience with all the bells and whistles, you might feel a little shortchanged. That said, the core machine itself performs identically to a new unit, so the value really comes from the price discount rather than any compromise in stitching quality. Who should buy this? If you're a serious hobbyist or a small business creator who does a mix of sewing, quilting, and occasional embroidery, the Horizon 9850 gives you a versatile toolkit in a single footprint. It pays off when you're looking at projects that demand more than just a straight stitch. Think decorative borders, monograms, or multicolor embroidery patterns. The machine's flexibility means you won't need to upgrade again for a few years, which is a genuine cost saver in the long run. Who should skip it? If your sewing habits are limited to simple repairs, occasional button replacements, or you only need a basic straight stitch for a few t-shirts a year, a lower-priced model will likely meet your needs. Additionally, if you're not comfortable with a touchscreen interface or you have a workshop with limited power availability, the Horizon's digital demands could become a source of frustration. For those who want a brand new box, complete with all accessories, the renewed status may not be appealing enough.